Good evening, everyone. Glad everybody's here tonight on this beautiful evening. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all that good stuff. I had to change the topic. In the midst of a conversation with my wife earlier, I was going to talk about time management. I'm still going to tap into it somewhat, but I'm going to finish that next week. But I want to talk today about the man in the mirror. And I say that because of me doing a lot of self-reflecting and contemplating different things or areas in my life and my walk which I'm doing wrong, could do better, areas to grow in, areas where I want to leave alone, areas where I want to add on, so on and so forth. But a lot of times we really don't understand, us as individuals, so to speak. And we often, so many times, if we look at our day-to-day life and conversations that we may have or so on and so forth, mainly conflicts, we always look at the areas or point the fingers at the areas that others are wrong in, others are strong-minded in, others are cocky in, others are withdrawn in. It's always us pointing the fingers at others when a lot of times, we as individuals have problems as well. And we don't deal with them because we're always pointing the fingers at others. Now, and I'm going to use myself for example, because this is something that helped me to grow through all the years that I was in prison. And of course, I had time to do self-reflecting, but now I find some of those same issues, replaying themselves or coming back to, I'm not going to say haunt me, but where they're coming back and it's not conducive to the growth that I'm seeking, in my walk, so to speak. Now, how can we, again, I'm going to use myself, how can I say that I love you when I don't really love me? We need to truly ask ourselves that, because we're so loose with stuff like that, whether it be a significant other, a family member, a sibling, or a child, that, I love you, yet you don't love yourself, and if we take time to sit back and analyze the things that we say and do, not to others, but to ourselves first, then where did that come from? And what we need to do, to me, is study ourselves, our mood swings, our temperament, our eye contact, our facial expressions, our attitude, our tone. See, these are the things that I hear a lot when it deals with myself. The facial expressions, the tones, and things of that nature. And I try daily to deal with these things, but unbeknown to me, a lot of times that I even do them. And the only way that you can cure a problem or a situation is you must face it or deal with it head on. And this is what made me bring this topic up today, for all of us to do what we call, or what I call, self-inventory, self-evaluation, self, because we have to work on self before we can consider either or contemplate helping somebody else. All of us in our walks, we're created to love thy neighbor and to help thy neighbor. But how if we can't help ourselves? So we need to first start with self. I have a lot of different examples that I'm a bring forth today. And one that I want to start with is, myself, early early on in my incarceration, I had a tendency, because my patience is not the greatest, and I had a tendency on allowing, my patients, when they get tested, it triggered other things, whether it was anger, whether it was me lashing out, trying to get somebody, like I call it, to jump out there, or what have you. And it wasn't until I got a grip on that part of my makeup that I was able to get into a different walk or a different place in my life. And what I mean by that is, say for example, because I play a lot of sports, and I'm on the basketball court and somebody score on me, or on the football field and somebody score on me and taunt me. In the early age, I try to get back, but it's still something that's inside of me wanting to lash out and just say something to make them, jump out there, so to speak, and that's, to me, what's wrong with a lot of us. I'm not even going to blame it on this generation, because it was my generation. It was the generation before me. It was the generation that's coming next. So when we do these things, who are we trying to impress? Because this still goes to peer pressure and some of the topics that I already dealt with, because you're tapping into so many different things, and all of that energy, that negative energy, we have to use it, in a way that's positive for us first. Because me, as being a male, a man, as I supposed to be, then I'm supposed to step up and be just that. Because I'm supposed to be an example, to other young men, to my sons, to my daughters. Even your sons and your daughters, they're my children, because that's how God created us. In order to get back to where we should be, we have to man up, woman up, because it's the same thing, because when we get into the biblical tense, or text, it's the same thing. We have to be who it is that we was created to be, and we have to walk in love. If we can't walk in love, then what we gonna walk in? We gonna walk in mischievousness. We gonna walk in evilness. We gonna walk in all the things that's gonna land us in the pit of hell. And right now, we don't have no time to play no games. We need to be getting right with our Lord. We need to be getting right with our family. We need to be getting right with our loved ones. We need to be getting right with all those that are dear to us. And God is first. We have to get right with Him first, but we have to man in the mirror. We have to take a look at ourselves even before we go to God. Because you can go to God right now and, and ask, seek forgiveness and all the above, and give yourself over to Him. But if you're not 100% ready, you may have things that's still in your heart. You may have things that's still in your mind, that's in the back burner, and you don't really know how to deal with these things. All right, it's cool to go to give yourself over, to ask God, but then you have to ask God how to deal with them things, because in order for you to receive what it is that He had for you, you have to let go and let Him. So now, you have to be able to tap into these things that are hindering you from progressing, from moving forward. And that's what I'm seeking for myself right now. And I want you to seek the same thing. We have to get better. We have to do better. We have to. Because we're in a time where tomorrow is not promised. Then an hour from now is not promised to us. We see all the things that's going on day in and day out around the world, not just here at home, but it's hard out here on all aspects. We dealing with life. So let's get right. Man in the mirror. Let's go. I want everybody, just go look in the mirror and ask that person that's in the mirror that you're looking at, what do I need to do to improve you. So just treat it as if you're helping someone else and not helping yourself, because that's going to better you. When it comes to your significant other, when it comes to your sibling, when it comes to your child, when it comes to you going before God, because that's going to help you to get a prayer life. That's going to help you to be able to say, I love you, and mean it, because you love yourself first. Certain things you're not going to let take place in your life because you want to do better for somebody else. I don't care if it's a stranger. You know, an incident happened to me today in Walmart. And normally my wife always tell me that sometimes I'm mean and so on. So I'm trying to get better. And that's what brought this topic up, man in the mirror. But anyway, I'm in the parking lot in Walmart, and a lady was next to me. She had a baby in a little seat in the basket, and a big box that she was trying to get in, a little car, 2-door. You know, I don't know what kind of car it was, but it was too small. And I know she was getting ready to struggle. And me, out of nowhere, you need help with that. Now, my wife will laugh if she probably hearing me as I'm talking to you guys now. Yeah, but I had to put the seat down. I helped her, and the little baby looking at me like, who are you? You know, but I'm working on me. That's why I gave that example. And we have to help people when we see their need. We can't be, because I call my wife Captain Say the World, you know, because that's what she'll try to do. And I get on her because you have to pick and choose your battles. And when I say that, I mean, this day and time, you can't help everybody. A lot of people are playing on that. Just like a few weeks ago, one of her girlfriends got murdered in Baltimore, you know, trying to help somebody that she thought was in need, her and a baby. You know, what happened? They stabbed her, you know, after she gave them a couple dollars just because she thought they needed food. So you can't help everybody. You have to be able to see through. I get it. You know, not everybody is from the street. So, you know, in the street, we call it game recognizing game. So some people we can see, but if somebody, you know, look like they hungry or got a sign up that they hungry, you don't have to give them no money. Give them a sandwich. You know, you might be at work or you might have a lunch bag. Give them an apple, give them a piece of fruit, give them something. You know, you don't have to give them money. You know, but that will help you to get into that spiritual realm, so to speak, to make you better. So when you do look at or reflect back on this day, this topic, man in the mirror, you know, you can go and say, the old me wouldn't have done that. That's what I did today. The new me, I do it all day, because I would want the same for me. It's almost like, you know, another old saying of mine is, treat others as you would want to be treated, you know, and I live by that, you know, but some days are better than others, because a lot of us, you know, we in the flesh. So we do things, you know, that would be the old us, because, you know, that old you, you know, they're not dead. You trying to kill them, but they're dormant. So you have some people, I'm going to just say the word ignorance. Ignorance a lot of times bring out the old you, but you have to reflect before that old you come out. You don't want that inner man. You don't want that to come out. You want to reflect on the new you, because you already done the man in the mirror. Just think about the man in the mirror. That's me. That's me, the new me. You know, another example is time in prison. We playing football, and I never forget it because I was all the way out of character. And a guy, you know, scored a touchdown on me. And, you know, it was a guy that I really didn't care for that much. And he said something slick that's the way I perceived it. And I tried every name in the book, and I'm not a real cusser, but I tried every name in the book to provoke that man to jump out there. And he wouldn't bite. He was like, you know, and Shy, you know, because that's what they call me. Oh, Shy, go ahead, Shy, go ahead. And after a while, you know, by him reacting the way he reacted, it brought me back to another place. And later on that night, I apologized to him because I was all the way out of pocket by doing that. And I wasn't in tune with myself at that time. This is before I started my writings. And again, I didn't tap into all that. But early on in my incarceration, I started, my pastime was writing. I have written a number of plays. I've written two and a half, well, yeah, 2.5 books, because one is half completed. I have two more treatments to books that need to be completed. A number of movies. So my pastime was writing, and one of the plays that I've done, was the topic I did last week. I have a play on Doing Time, actually. I have a play on The Man in the Mirror. I had a lot of these topics that I'm going to be dealing with. I have actual plays on them. And I mean, they are entertaining and educational at the same time, because that's how I try to come off, because it's conducive to me for who I'm trying to become, not who I used to be, if that makes sense. Man in the Mirror. We have to get to a place in our life when we say, I love you, we mean it, and for all those that know me, I love hard. So a lot of times I don't even know the word to use when I describe this, because that's the way I came up. It's love. When you love somebody, you love them to the end, to the beginning, from the end to the beginning, the beginning to the end. You love that person, and you'll do anything for them. You'll give them the shirt off your back, so on and so forth. But when you love a person like that and you don't get the same in return, the old me, that's when the my wife called it tit for tat, or the harboring comes in. And I pray on those things even to today. I've come a long way, trust me, I've come a long way with a lot of that, but I'm not there yet. I'm still trying to be delivered from some of that old stuff. And that's why every day when I'm taking time out to reflect on me, man in the mirror, because if I don't, who will? Who will? Nobody's going to love you like you. Nobody's going to treat you like you. Nobody. So you have to treat yourself like that first. But by doing that, give your all to God, because that's going to help you to become the person that He created you to be able to walk into your purpose. I don't know what your purpose is. Just like right now, I still don't know what mine is. I pray every day that He guides me to take those footsteps to walk into my purpose. Some people live a lifetime and still never find out what their true purpose was. What I truly believe my purpose is to do what I'm doing right now. And that's to help others, to share the experiences that I've experienced with others. I get my payday. This is my big payday, when I'm able to mentor someone, to be able to spread the wealth. And that's share a jewel, because if we drop a jewel on somebody, and you know how many jewels was dropped on me over the years? Oh my God. And sometimes you don't get it right then. Sometimes it might take a day. Sometimes it might take a month. Sometimes it might take a week. Some jewels I didn't actually get till years later. And I reflect back and I'd be like, oh man, so-and-so said that. Man, if I had to listen then, man, I wouldn't have did this. I wouldn't have did that. I would have done this better. So what I want us to do, if you don't remember nothing that I went over today, I'm going to drop these 3 things on you. Oh, I got to get my specs. Number 1, self-inventory. We have to do that. We have to take a self-inventory, because that is going to allow us to know what it is that we need to work on. Number 2, when we look in the mirror, do we like what we see? Do we like what we see? And I'm not dealing with the outer, I'm dealing with the inner. Number 3, after we deal with the first 1 and 2, self-inventory, do we like what we see? Now it's time to make change. Number 1, self-inventory. Number 2, do we like what we see? Number 3, make change. I came in peace and I leave in peace. Happy New Year.